Hello, everyone. Welcome to Feedstuffs 365. I'm Sarah Muirhead. Many promising innovations in agriculture have met resistance at the farm gate. Why is that? And what is Land O'Lakes looking to do to change that? Jason Trusley, Senior Vice President and Chief Strategy Officer at Land O'Lakes, joins us to talk about a new coalition that's been launched focused on ag innovation. Welcome, Jason. Thank you for being here today.
Hi, Sarah. Thanks for having me on.
Now, Land O'Lakes recently launched AgRogue Growth Partners, and it's really essentially a collaborative investment arm that works through and with your LOL retail network. So just give us some background. What does this mean for Land O'Lakes? What does this mean for the retail network and farmers overall?
Sure. Maybe we'll step back into history a little bit. About 18 months ago, a group of CEOs that are part of our Winfield United CEO Roundtable asked us about the opportunity to co-invest in early stage innovation. Individually, any one of these entities is probably too small to really move the needle on investments. You know, if you need to raise $5-10 million to invest in an early stage technology, independently, they were not able to really kind of think about the capital required to do that. However, we started thinking about the power of the system, the power of Winfield United and Land O'Lakes, alongside our retail partners, raising capital, putting it together, and then coming up with a set of investment theses that would really move the system in the direction of a more durable and sustainable growth model. And so after that, 18 months ago, the conversation really went from, hey, can we build a corporate venture capital fund that we can go do this, to what is now AgRogue Growth Partners, which is a innovation platform that really allows the system to find, source, and engage with promising early stage companies that have found product and market fit, and then are ultimately looking for growth equity as well as growth partners to help scale those technologies. One of the early observations in this conversation was the reality that many startups in the ag tech space have failed to launch beyond sort of the first set of farm gates that they reached. And our thesis initially was, well, a company like Winfield United and Land O'Lakes and a brand like Land O'Lakes and our partners can really transform that experience for those innovators. But it can also transform the experience for retailers and for growers that are getting their door knocked on every single day by somebody with a new technology, some of which are proven, some of which have some data, many of which are still waiting to be fully defined. Exactly who should we trust and how should we trust them? And so that felt like an interesting intersection point for all of us to come together on. And that turned into what is now this entity. Which is a platform that is a partnership of Radical Growth, 6 of our largest retail partners, and Winfield United through Land O'Lakes, with the objective of really taking and scaling those technologies and bringing them to market in a much more promising and much more supported way.
You mentioned the discovery and adoption of new technologies and innovations has been a bit challenging, perhaps, when it comes to agriculture. Some are getting stopped at that, the retail level. Some people just don't know who to trust and if they should even look at adopting some of these things. Are you think that is? Why do you think people have been really cautious about adoption of new technology? I know there's an investment usually involved, but are there other reasons? And how are you looking to change that perception?
I think if you look back to 2021, 22, at the height of venture capital investments in ag tech, which also happened to be the height of venture capital investing overall, there was a lot of stuff that was coming to the farm gate that didn't have a lot of evidence behind it, and a lot of hope, a lot of like, we think that this will, rather than proven out and supported by those that are influencing producers and growers. So I think, as I was trying to diagnose why the ag tech industry has yet to see $1 billion valuation company, a unicorn, show up, as we have yet to really prove out the power of things like digital transformation and digital farming, why we've seen headwinds like farm income erosion over the past few years. All of it seemed to come back together with the question around trust. Who do I listen to? How do I determine what a great opportunity is? How do I bring the power of my network, whether it's my community or those that I work with inside my farming operation, to really bring the best choices and decisions to my my farmland? And the reality is that with as many different technologies as agritech has seen over the past half decade, it is a pretty complex and complicated landscape to engage with. You know, if you look at biologicals, there are probably 3,000 biologicals that are floating around. It's hard to understand how that's going to work and why I should invest in that. I think the other one is behavioral, which is of the, you know, the 400,000 row crop farmers and the 2 million agriculture operators in the United States today. Many of them have practices that they feel are right for their farmland and are right for their business. And we have a lot of respect for that, but we also know that in the search for yield improvement, in the search for productivity improvement, technology and innovation are really the pathway to get there. And so when you're going up against the behavioral economics of how do I make a decision around change, and these are the proven things that have worked for me, and these are the guardrails my agronomist is willing to discuss with me, the ultimate question is, how much risk am I willing to take? And we really believe that the system, Land O'Lakes, Winfield United, our retail partners and their agronomists, and ultimately the decision maker on the farm are the ones that need to help shape that. And the innovators that are coming into the system are the ones that need support to prove out how those innovations are going to really take flight. And I'm betting we've missed a lot of great innovations. Just like in any other industry, there are great ideas that have simply missed the time or the place. And we really believe that in order to reach the full potential of the growers that we work with day in and day out, we really got to help them find and the best technology, improve it out alongside those innovators, and help to scale those businesses with those growers through our retail partners. And it requires the entire system to work together in order for us to really create the outcomes that we're looking for.
So then how do companies get involved? What type of companies can participate? How is all that working? How do you choose? Is there a process they have to go to apply? What's that all look like?
Yeah, there's sort of the rote answer to that question, Sarah, which is, go to agrogrowth.com, and there's an intake form, and the folks at Radical will look at that opportunity. We have other mechanisms, like we're hosting a Radical Challenge in the coming months that introduces potentially hundreds of new technologies or some that are already in the marketplace, and gives us a chance to look at them in a competitive way. The other one is to work through our retail partners that we are co-investing alongside, and to work directly with Winfield United to reach out to us via your retailer, your co-op retailer, and through reaching out directly to me or others on my team to really understand what your technology is about and how you can get engaged in the process of working with us. Now, we believe that our greatest gift and greatest attribute to anybody that works with us is not going to be the capital that we provide. There is absolutely plenty of reasons to pursue us for capital. And we look at investments between $5 and $10 million as sort of the sweet spot. That's where a company is looking for capital to help them grow. Could be getting new resources. It could be building marketing, building go-to-market, building new capabilities or new assets. But we really believe that it's at that point of growth that companies need to come and talk to us. The other side of that is that because capital is not the greatest benefit that we're going to offer, it's our vast reach and our market access with the entire Winfield system, regardless of whether or not you're in one of the regions served by our 6 retailers, but it's also all the capabilities we have in testing and innovation in our answer plots and in our research center in River Falls, Wisconsin. So through all of that, we believe that we will present something to the growth-minded innovator that is, unique and compelling and different. We want to hear from them in a way that we can solve problems for them. We have a great team from Radical that includes 2 former CEOs of smaller ag companies, ag tech companies, senior leaders from places like Corteva, and also experienced venture capitalists. But on the land O'Lakes side and within the retail system, we have experienced entrepreneurs that have helped coach companies through transformational growth phases of their existence. I've sat on the board of at least 10 startups over the course of my career over the last 10 years, investing in venture capital and investing in growth equity. And it's a difficult place to navigate. And so as we kind of think about the compilation of those things, the capital, the innovation platform, and the management expertise that you're going to get through engagement with us, any point of entry is a great point of entry.
So you don't have to be just starting out. You can have a product that you've been working and just like struggling perhaps, or you just don't know what the next steps are to bring that to the market.
I think that's right. There are a lot of companies out there that invest in very early stage investments. And part of the reason why is the returns on that equity are greater when you're taking much bigger risks. Our belief is that a lot of the companies get through that early stage, but they fail to launch in their growth stage. Where you actually have to have a sales team that's going out and calling on a grower, where you're going and calling on sellers in retail, and you have a universe of folks to go engage with. And so how do you prioritize and how do you make sense of that marketplace? Well, number one is market access, finding folks that actually know how to navigate that ecosystem. And number two is scale. I mean, ultimately, the biggest challenge for anybody selling an idea is how do you reach enough people for that idea to stick? And so we believe that if you have the right product and you've defined the right market, say, the problems we really are focusing on, obsessing to solve on behalf of both the retailers and growers are things like, how do you drive efficiency in net farm income? How do you navigate retail uncertainty and the transformation that's happening at the retail level? How do you go after developing and sustaining soil health and the vitality of your farm? And then we bring solutions like digitization. We bring supply chain optimization, so the end-to-end concept of supply chain, new retail capabilities. Those are things that we're agnostic to what the technology is, but we're very focused on what problems are most important to solve on behalf of growers and on behalf of retailers. And so as you're looking at your technology, if you're an innovator, or if you're looking at how you transform retail, what we want to do is make sure that those things that are coming to us are fit to those biggest rocks that need to be broken apart at the farm level. And my belief is we're going to learn a lot more over the next year and 2 years and 3 years about both where the market is going as well as where the market has been. That will help continue to shape what our investment strategy is.
I wrote down radical challenge. I'm just dying to know what that is exactly.
So Radical Growth has done radical challenges for at least probably half a decade now. And Kirk, their founder, would probably suggest it's been longer than that. But let's say in the last 5 years, they've been running these radical challenges along entities like World Agritech and other large ag companies that they've worked with. The idea is that they send out a problem. And we believe our first problem is going to be crop inputs. And crop inputs are really, where the sweet spot of our participation, our being Land O'Lakes participation in the value stream for agriculture is, whether it's seed or crop nutrition or crop protection, ranging from basic chemistry all the way to advanced biologicals and peptides and other emerging technologies, automation, application technologies. All those things inside crop inputs are a really important topic for us to help secure and defend the position of our retailers in the marketplace. So Radical will come along and we'll announce a challenge with them that then allows people to send in applications to participate in the challenge. And then there will be an evaluation process and a panel of judges that are pulled from inside of Land O'Lakes and our retailers, but also from without. And ultimately we'll award winners that have small cash prizes associated with them that really then allow you to kind of like take the next baby step. And there are two types of companies that will participate in a challenge. Number one is early stage, mom and dad are investing in me right now, but I just want to get visibility so people know that I'm out there. And I want to be alongside them that journey as they're beginning to build their company. And I want them to understand how they can work with companies like us. The other one is maybe more likely to find an incremental investment through AgRogue Growth Partners or AgRogue Growth Partners, which has found a marketplace for their product and solution. And from that, we will learn a lot about what they need to grow, what their ambition is, and how we can really help them grow in a way that is not obvious. And I think we probably had 200 reach outs since we announced the partnership a few weeks ago. There's a lot of energy for something like AgRogue to exist in the marketplace, and I think once we launch the Radical Challenge, it's going to be even more profound.
We just wrapped up our Farm Progress show in Decatur, Illinois, which is a huge farm show, outdoor farm show, and lots of innovation and lots of technology and just lots of excitement about that.
Yes.
So I'm kind of assuming that is why, because there is all of this energy and all of this excitement, and you see all of this potential.
There is no better time to start investing in early stage technologies than in a down market. And let's be really clear. Like, there is not a lot of capital flowing into the venture capital part of the ag tech supply chain today, value chain. And we believe that innovation is the path forward to really help farmers navigate this. I don't know, it's new normal, the period of uncertainty that we're uncertain how long it has lasted and will last. And if you think about what has allowed most technologies to prosper in the last decade, outside of agritech especially, it's internet connectivity, high-speed broadband internet connectivity. With the work that Land O'Lakes, it established at least a vision for where we can go with connectivity, delivering health services, delivering education, delivering new technology. Now that we're kind of at a point where most acres are covered with some sort of high-speed internet, and we have more work to do. We need to deliver on that promise of technology backbone in order for a lot of these innovations to take flight. We think that we're now at a position where we can both influence how quickly that gets rolled out, as well as invest ahead of that reality. And that's a timing. You can't time a market, right? As much as I would love to time a market, I wouldn't be having this conversation with you if I could do that. But what we can do is at least anticipate where the market is going to be and try to find a place that is going to be radically transformative for those people that benefit from the use of our technology and our investments. And that feels like right now, right? At a time when growers have so many unknowns that they fight with day in and day out, whether it's the challenges with market access to places like China for soy, it's the growth of Brazil as the kind of front runner and the standard bearer for agriculture, or it's the need to change the game in agriculture to make sure you can deliver profitability. Like, I doubt that many farmers want to go on that road alone. And so we want to help them. And that's why right now seems like exactly the right time to start this fund.
Very good. Any final thoughts to leave our audience with here today, Jason?
No, hopefully you can sense the enthusiasm we have for this partnership. We're working with an incredible, strong group of folks that understand agriculture, understand technology, understand capital investing strategies, and working with a brand like Land O'Lakes and Radical Growth and our retail partners is such a unique opportunity that I hope people on the innovation side get really excited. And I hope our growers and farmer partners in the marketplace really start to see something that looks and feels different. We're getting a lot of really positive signal right now. I talked to a young grower in Nebraska last week who had read about us. It was just effusive about his interest in what the business is that we're building. And that's what we need, but we need to sustain that. So I look forward to engagement from those that are seeking to get into innovation, that are seeking to deploy innovation, and ultimately help to bring in a new type of productivity effectiveness and durability to the business of agriculture.
Very good. Indeed, exciting times. Jason Trusley, Senior Vice President and Chief Strategy Officer at Land O'Lakes. Thank you so much for your time today, Jason.
Thank you, Sarah.
Likewise, we appreciate all of you and our audience for tuning in. Until next time, for Feedstuffs, I'm Sarah Muirhead.